Dub dub da dub da dub da dub dub. Yes.
One day as I dey dab dey go, now I see my neighbor on top electric pole. No be hammer you hold so.
Before, so
Climb every day. Come on electric bill, you no gree pay.
wetin concern you for there? Abeg you, come over here.
Okay oh, I don talk my own. As I dab reach house. Yay! Fire! Fire! My brand new flat screen.
Hold up.
Wetin concern you for there? Abeg you, come over here.
Government property na my property. If you no come down now, I go report.
No be only report. Na report card.
Dub 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 da dub dub da dub 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 da dub da dub da dub dub. Yes.
Good afternoon, you're welcome to News on the Hour, coming to you from the studios of New Frontiers Television. My name is Adiola Adegoke. The acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, has issued an executive order outlining the timeline and procedures for government offices to submit their yearly budgets, less than 2 days after the Senate demanded offices comply with the relevant fiscal law within 2 weeks. The Senate had on Wednesday asked Mr. Osinbajo to ensure the submission of the budgets of 31 government establishments, including the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation and the Nigerian Ports Authority. Osinbajo, who responded today with an executive order, warned relevant offices of appropriate sanctions if they fail to comply henceforth. According to the order, all agencies of the government, including those not listed in the Fiscal Responsibility Act, are to prepare and submit their budgets for the next 3 years to the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Budgets and National Planning, or not before the end of May every year. 3 male suicide bombers were killed while attempting to attack a female hostel in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, on Thursday night. One of the 3 suicide bombers carried an AK-47 gun. At least 2 bombs exploded during the attack. A student leader in the university, Abu Anifa Babati, confirmed that one of the explosions occurred around the female BOT hostel. He said another explosion occurred around the Faculty of Veterinary Medicine. On the casualty, an emergency worker involved in the evacuation said 4 security men in the university, including volunteers, were treated for injury they sustained, as no life was lost except the killed suicide bombers. And the Senate has condemned this presidency for allowing Mr. Lanre Gbajabiamila to resume as the Director General of the Nigeria Lottery Regulation Commission without legislative approval of his appointment. The lawmakers also barred Gbajabiamila from the office until the presidency sought the Senate's approval for his appointment and the appointee was cleared by the legislature. President Muhammadu Buhari had in April appointed Gbajabiamila as the Director General of the Nigeria Lottery Regulation Commission, as well as 22 other chief executives of the federal government organizations. The Senate asked its majority leader, Ahmed Lawan, to probe the allegation by Senator Dino Melaye that the president has failed to get legislative approval for Gbajabiamila's appointment. Melaye had alleged that the appointee had started to operate in the office without the approval of the legislature. Former President Goodluck Jonathan has said that he has no regrets that Chief Nyesom Wike became the governor of Rivers State. Jonathan declared that Wike's excellent performance had justified the support he received from the political stakeholders for his election in 2015. Speaking during the inauguration of the second Bogo Bridge as part of the 2nd anniversary of the Wike's administration, the ex-president said Governor Wike has performed wonderfully well. According to Jonathan, the governor has shown much commitment to infrastructural development such that the entire Rivers State had become a construction yard. In education sector, the national president of the Nigerian Union of Teachers, Comrade Michael Ogba Olukoya, has said that beginning from September this year, the union will start picketing private primary and secondary schools across the country to ensure that only qualified teachers are in the employ. He said this in Abeokuta during a briefing held at the NUT Secretariat, while he also said the Nigerian Union of Teachers would monitor state governments to make sure they engage only duty qualified teachers. He wants teachers in the state to ensure that they register with the Teachers Regulation Council of Nigeria. He also advised the teachers to disregard calls made by some individuals parading themselves or use union leaders that registration with the Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria was not compulsory. Olukoya urged the teachers to use the opportunity offered by the council to get registered. JAMB Registrar Ishak Oloye on Thursday said the board was planning to collaborate with key stakeholders to establish mega centers for the conduct of its unified tertiary matriculation examination. Mr. Oloyede announced the plan at a news conference in Lagos after an on-the-spot assessment of some computer-based testing centers where the UTME was conducted in the city. He said he was not impressed with the standard of some of the centers, adding that the board needed to be more stringent. According to him, most of the centers currently being used for the examination fell short of the standard. On health-related issues, recent developments have indicated that the global efforts to develop an effective HIV/AIDS vaccine is realizable. This is according to the Director General of the National Agency for the Controls of AIDS, NACA, Sani Aliyu, who spoke during a press conference on Thursday in Abuja to mark the 20th anniversary of the annual HIV Vaccine Advocacy Day. Mr. Aliyu pointed out that the process of vaccine development for other diseases has always been slow and laborious, yet feasible. He also noted that Nigeria has so far achieved dramatic success in increasing coverage of HIV treatment, care, and existing prevention options. He noted that developing a vaccine would be an important part of such a comprehensive and integrated preventive strategy. With over 3 million, Nigeria has the second highest number of people living with HIV/AIDS in the world. We'll take a break and we'll return with more stories. Don't go away. You're still watching News on the Hour coming to you from the studio of New Frontiers Television onto the metro section, where Alfred Aderibigbe, the man who administered several injections on Osun Senator Isiaka Adeleke shortly before his death, has testified before the coroner inquest into the lawmaker's death, saying he was only one of the many nurses the politician had in Lagos. Giving evidence at the inquest on Thursday, Mr. Aderibigbe said Mr. Adeleke consulted him for the past 20 years on matters relating to his health. The Chief Medical Director at the Ladoke Akintola University Teaching Hospital, Wale Lasisi, had testified before the inquest on Monday, saying the information available to him indicated that Mr. Aderibigbe had no medical status either as a doctor or as a nurse. The Cross River State Emergency Management Agency had distributed foods and non-food materials to victims of communal clashes in Obubra, Obaniko, and Abi local government areas of the state. Items distributed included bags of rice, beans, cartons of seasoning cubes, and other items. Director General of the State Emergency Management Agency, Mr. John Inaku, said the items were bought by Governor Ben Ayade to ameliorate the plight of the citizens. The Federal High Court has asked the Abuja Division of the Federal High Court to ignore Mohamed Abacha's claim of ownership to disputed oil prospecting license 245, which is regarded as one of the richest oil blocks in Africa. Late Sani Abacha, FG, via a court process that was filed by the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, is asking the High Court to dismiss or strike out suit number FHC ABJ CS 201-2017, wherein Abacha is claiming ownership of Malabu Oil and Gas Limited. The federal government equally urged the court to ignore their joint claim with Mohamed Abacha, where Oyewole Fashawe and Pecos Energy Limited, saying their claims of membership or ownership of Malabu Oil and Gas Limited is not yet ascertained. According to the federal government, the plaintiff was well aware of the reallocation since May 2011 up to September 2016, as evidence formed available in the suit. The controversial arms procurement deals under the immediate past administration of Goodluck Jonathan have become a subject of litigation in the United States, where a national of Niger Republic, Ima Abubakar, and the U.S. arms dealer, Aradolarian, are locked in a legal battle involving a $246 million contract. The $246 million order at the height of the Boko Haram insurgency in 2014 was for supply of weapons and equipment, including helicopters, bombs, and ammunition. The deal reportedly collapsed in 2015, and the arms never arrived, forcing Abubakar to sue Dolarian for fraud in a Californian court. That's the much will be taken on the national scene. Up next is Foreign with Jumoke Awalola.
Emmanuel Macron will undertake his first trip as commander-in-chief today, when he meets troops fighting Islamist militants in Mali, where the security situation has worsened despite French intervention more than 4 years ago. The Sahel, a politically fragile area whose remote desert spaces spanning from Mauritania in the west to Sudan in the east host a medley of jihadist groups, is seen as vulnerable after a series of attacks in recent months. Macron, a newcomer to international diplomacy, put counter-terrorism at the top of his security priorities during the election campaign, vowing to strengthen support for West African allies. And on to Russia, Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Gennady Getelov has said that a U.S. coalition strike in Syria on May 17 had hit civilians and said was unacceptable. Getelov, who was speaking in Geneva, said the strike had violated Syria's sovereignty and would not help efforts to find a political solution to the conflict there. And on to the United States, where the U.S. military has said that 2 Chinese Su-30 aircraft carried out an unprofessional intercept of a U.S. aircraft designed to detect radiation while it was flying in international airspace over the East China Sea. Air Force spokeswoman Lieutenant Colonel Lori Hodge said the issue was being addressed with China through appropriate diplomatic and military channels. Hodge stated that the U.S. characterization of the incident was based on initial report from the U.S. aircrew aboard the WC-135 Constant Phoenix aircraft due to the maneuvers by the Chinese pilot, as well as the speed and proximity of both aircraft. She added that the WC-135 was carrying out a routine mission at the time and was operating in accordance with international law. Olajumoke Babalola reporting.
Thank you for staying with us on News on the Hour. That's where we'll wrap up the news for this hour. Do join us again at 3 p.m. as we bring you more news from the news desk of New Frontiers Television. My name is Adiola Adegoke.